romantic comedy. It's a good one. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Matthew McConaughey.
What's your favorite rom-com?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Adam Sandler.
Just go with it.
Just go with it. Yeah, just go with it. That's a good one. There's another one too where she forgets.
51st Date.
51st Date.
Just Friends is fire.
Just Friends.
Just Friends is not bad, though.
This is actually very easy for me.
I
Crazy
knew-
Stupid Love.
Oh
Kidding
my
me?
gosh.
And I don't know if anybody said this because this is top of all time. Wedding Crashers. And it might be just a comedy to some people, but it really is a romance.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I was about to say the same thing.
And I will say, Forgetting Sarah
But
Marshall.
then you can say, like, Cars is a romantic comedy. There's romance in it. The cars fall in love.
That's fine. Is that your favorite romantic comedy?
Love and Basketball? Love and
Yeah.
Basketball.
Love and Basketball.
Frozen? Hamilton?
I'm not gonna stay long, but my favorite romantic comedy is One Jet Drop.
Good stuff. Jets players with their favorite romantic comedies. I'll go with CJ Uzama. Cars. And look, any good movie, any good story has a plot line in there somewhere where there's some sort of a romance. That's you got to have that. You got to have that for it to work. There's got to be that element. So Cars. I'm on board with CJ Uzama.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. I mean, I'm going to choke under the pressure. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a really good one when you just talk about
Never seen it.
Oh, you never seen that with Matthew McConaughey and it's a bet that he has with Goldie Hawn's daughter. I'm blanking. Kate Hudson. Thank you very much, Courtney.
Kate Hudson.
Oh, you need to see it, Mike. It's definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. He's trying to impress his work by picking up this girl, and she's trying to show how you can get rid of a guy quickly in 10 days by being a weird thing. So the worlds collide, right? And it's pretty good. You need to watch that one. It's better than Cars.
I don't even know what makes what makes a romantic comedy. I don't know. I can't even think of many. I don't know. I watch what I like. I don't think of the category. It's like, hey, this looks good. Let's watch it. Okay, it was good. Let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next topic. Jets defensive lineman. No romantic comedy there. It is a dramatic tragedy, at least for opposing offenses. That's what they hope to do. Jermaine Johnson, rookie, first rounder. We talked to Robert Saleh, the coach of the Jets, the other day about his mindset, and they traded back into round one to get him. Here he is on the key to setting the edge for the Jets defense.
What is the key to setting the edge against the run? Because a lot of people say they want to do it, but then they can't do it. Yeah. What is the key to it?
It's a mindset, violence. There's no pretty boy work in the trenches. It's fun and stuff, as sacks look and stuff like that. First, second down, primarily run downs. You got to earn the right to rush the passer, and what comes with that in my position is setting the edge. You got to be violent and you got to take your job serious because, if you don't set the edge, a big play can bust, and that can shut down a defense. So, I take that serious, and my job is setting the edge, make sure nothing comes outside of that, and I take that serious. I take my job serious because I don't want to let my team down.
Hey, Jermaine Johnson, talking about football, the way the football is still played. It is a violent, physical game, and especially on the running plays. It's all about blocking, shedding blocks, setting the edge, getting to the ball carrier and putting him on the ground, and it moves fast, and it moves with a high degree of contact. And even though the game has gotten safer, the running game really hasn't changed, Chris.
No, it's not. It's still about, no, this spot's mine, and I'm going to move you off of it. I'm here, and I want this spot. And now I got to get you off of it, and now make a tackle and hit this guy. And, yes, it is certainly – the physicality of the game, even though it's safer, because of the amount of talented, freaky athletes we got in the sport right now, the collisions are still as great as we've ever seen in the sport. That's for sure. And, Jermaine Johnson and, the Jets. And, again, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little earlier, just with the Green Bay thing a little bit. Here's the 49ers. You see that word, violence, killer. Again, I know they're not great words for, fifth graders and reading a bedtime story, but we're talking about football here. That's what guys are looking at. That's what the top teams have a lot of. The Aaron Donalds of the world and the Leonard Floyds of the world and whatever else. And the Jets are trying to get their own version of their Nick Bosa, and hopefully Jermaine Johnson can do that.
And, we talk about how the game still remains very physical and very violent. And one of the rule changes in recent years that helps the defensive player is the slicing away of the instances where you can hit a guy low.
Yeah.
And because for years, the NFL encouraged it because there's only one way for a little guy to get a big guy on the ground. You're not going to go push him and shove him and knock him down. You hit him low. And, we talked recently about that bad call in the Bears-Steelers game where if you're outside the tackle box, you can't do the low hit. And you have Jermaine Johnson, if he's outside of that area, if he's out in space, he doesn't have to worry about somebody diving into his legs to take him down. It's going to be face up, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, and if you're big and you're strong and you can apply that force, you're going to win that fight, and you don't have to worry about possibly tearing an ACL because somebody decided to come take you out low.
Yeah, no, I think it's the right move for the game. I do. We see it every year. Too many players hurt because of that, and again, does the bigger physical teams maybe have a little more advantage because of that? Sometimes I do think so too. Because, again, the small guy has had for lack of a better way to say it, a leg chopped out from underneath him. He can't do that anymore. So now it's got to be, I got to take him up top, and it is about size and strength. And the teams that are built, more on those premises, I do think have an advantage as far as that rule is concerned.
Jets defensive end Carl Lawson, one of the veterans on the roster, addressed the team's defensive line as well. Here's what he had to say.
I think the potential is out the roof, but at the same time, we gotta stay healthy and we gotta be able to execute. And when our numbers call, just go out there and ball out. But I think the potential is to the roof, and I think we're always, like they said, we're always looking to continue to add to this group of hungry guys. And I love this group because it's a bunch of guys with different backstories. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a competitive group, so it's going to create a breeding ground for absolute monsters. You got guys wanting to come back and prove themselves, like myself. You got undrafted guys. You got guys who went to JUCO. You got guys who's coming off, like Vinny Curry coming off of a damn near life-threatening injury. You've got so many different people that have been through different adversities, and then you got that competitive nature. If this guy's slacking, no, I want to be the best, and this, that. And you got guys who love football, so it's an absolute breeding ground for monsters. So I love this group. I love it really.
We were talking about this earlier. The idea that there's a bunch of great teams in the AFC, and the teams that you would look at and say, they're not a factor: Jets, Jaguars, Texans. I don't know what to think about the Jets and the Jaguars.
There's some things to like.
I like what they're both doing.
Yeah, I'm with you. You're right. I mean, again, they've spent money, and it's not stupid money, and they both had good drafts. And I think, again, too, when you take into where we've hit on this, I think, in the offseason a little bit, where, year two, your quarterback's going to be more comfortable. Everybody's got, a hold of the Robert Saleh system and the Mike LaFleur system on the offensive side of the ball. And the Jets are one of those teams that I would look at from last year to go, definitely in the top 5 as far as was ravaged by injuries that affected their football team. Whether it was Zach Wilson, their receivers, Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, they missed games. Marcus May, maybe one of the best players on their D last year, he got hurt. LaMarcus Joyner got hurt. Carl Lawson got hurt. Jared Davis got hurt. They really had it in a tough spot there for a little while, to where I think, we're saying the same thing. You see what they got on the roster now, what they did to improve it, and you see that there's some energy in that building provided by their head coach. You go, is this one of these teams that maybe kind of comes out of nowhere? I think they have kind of that potential. I do.
Yeah, and there's always a team like that, and
there is.
The Bengals' ascension last year from worst to first, that's the kind of thing the NFL loves because it gives every fan base plausible hope. It may not be realistic, but it's at least the Bengals had Joe Burrow, but it's at least plausible that when everybody's 0-0, you never know what's going to happen. You never know how it's going to play out. And a lot goes up and down and changes over a 17-game season. And so any year can be the year. And we saw it last year. Teams were alive longer than ever. That's what the NFL wants. If possible, all 32 teams still in the hunt for the postseason when you get into the last couple of weeks of the season, if not the final week of the season. That's what they're trying to do and create that sense that you can pull it off. You can make it happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.